My name is Bakhtiyar Bazarbekov. I have 3 children and now my wife and I are expecting the 4th. It just so happened that I had 5% vision since my childhood. Despite this, I'm an active member of society. I do sports, run business, and I'm a documentary film director.
Являюсь режиссером документального кино. Если объяснить, что такое 5% зрения, это...
If you want to understand what 5% vision means, you need to fold a transparent folder 3 times and look at the world through it. I have had vision disability since childhood. I have a hereditary cataract, a hereditary eye disease. I inherited it from my father. It turned out that all 3 children in our family, my brother, sister and I, were born with poor eyesight. Despite this, we live and enjoy life. I can say that our parents did their best to help us become fully fledged people. Be as independent as possible, believe in our abilities, and develop any skills we were interested in. They bought us bikes, skates, toboggans, and other things when they could afford them, since our parents weren't from rich families. They worked at the plant of the Kazakh community of the blind. Mom did the early shift while Dad did the late one. We studied at a boarding school. After finishing it, I entered Kazakh State Law University and found myself in another world, which was completely different from the boarding school. It was like a quantum leap, and my horizons expanded significantly there. My brother and I started working at the age of 13 when we still studied at school. We sold lemonade at a market and flea market. We started with selling 2 bottles to get some pocket money, which we saved. We increased the amount over summer and were able to buy school outfits on our own, which helped our parents a lot. We started to show some business sense at that time. Various things happened to us then, especially in the 1990s. To tell the truth, they threatened us, pointing guns to our heads, stole money and goods which we were selling, deceived us. Well, a lot of such things happened, but I think they were like a trial by fire. If you endure such ordeals, you reach a higher level. It's life. Life means you have to keep self-control constantly, and as a result, you become better than you were yesterday.
Жизнь это как бы постоянное преодоление себя. Ты становишься лучше, чем вчера.
The Sports Without Borders project was conceived in 20. I participated in a chess tournament. It was a national chess tournament. We played in conditions unacceptable to ordinary sports, and the attitude towards people was unacceptable too.
Для нормального спорта и отношения к человеку.
The blind played in a dark place. It was cold and they lacked equipment. The watch broke, and when I didn't have enough pawns, the judge said, "As soon as someone captures a pawn, we'll give it to you." Then I thought that it shouldn't be like that. I had the idea of improving standards of disabled sports, and I couldn't forget about it, day or night. I quickly found like-minded people. Bakhtiyar started to organize his widely known cycling races. He had various ideas, was very creative, but sometimes didn't notice some little details or technical nuances. It was important to support him and help organize a team. He invited me, and I joined him at that stage. We managed to take some steps to help them progress. We had bikes in our childhood. My brother and I were bought a bicycle, and we dreamed of going from Almaty to Kapshagai by bike. You know, it was a dream, not even an aim, but a dream. Later, when the Sports Without Borders was established, this dream turned into our aim and we quickly achieved it. However, if you fulfill some aim and don't set yourself others, it looks like a step backwards. You feel empty and ask, what's next? Then, not having achieved this aim yet, we set ourselves different ones. Why not to ride from Almaty to Astana to connect the two capitals and do our best to attract the attention of as many people as possible to this challenge of flash mob, we thought.
Так, чтобы на этот челлендж, на этот флешмоб, или как хотите, да, чтобы обратили внимание как можно больше людей. Мы все-таки решили осуществить наш.
We decided to organize our first cycle race after all.
Тем самым показали, что
It took us 9 days to get to Astana. It helped us show that we got there without getting any injuries or reached Astana without any nuances.
было сложно.
Of course, it was difficult. It was difficult, but we had known it and attempted to do it.
Потом уже в 2017 году
In 2017, we organized another cycle race more professionally.
можно сказать, более профессионально.
The First President Foundation provided support and the mass media was involved. Thanks to the mass media, news about us and this project spread.
Говорить об этом проекте.
We won the Best Social Project of the Year contest that year and received a grant which we spent on holding Almaty Istiklal International Cycle Race.
Проект года и получили грант, от которых как раз и направили.
We decided that we'd ride bicycles from Astana to Paris in the cycle race held in 2019. No, it was 2018.
В 2018 году, вернее.
Not all the participants are blind because there are volunteers who help us cook outside, set up tents, and they escort us in cars. Besides, there are escorting pilots.
Там есть и волонтеры, которые нам помогают приготовить.
Tandem is a sport involving two rider teams. One of the riders, who is cyclist, sits behind.
И также пилоты сопровождающие.
The other rider who escorts the former, and they both pedal their bicycle.
Который сидит
It's
сзади.
possible to achieve good results only if two riders work coherently.
Именно только при слаженной работе можно достигать хороших результатов. Я
I often ask myself why I do it. Why do I need to help others? Why am I engaged in voluntary work?
Помогать, быть общественным, заниматься общественными работами.
You know, social work exerts considerable influence on business.
Влияет на бизнес. То есть, когда
For example, when we were preparing Astana Paris cycle race, I hardly did my work and it was hard.
И очень сложно.
Sometimes with tears in my eyes, I borrowed money from my son to buy groceries for my family. Such things did happen.
Для того, чтобы купить продукты домой. Такие моменты тоже были. И тогда
I asked myself if it was right to treat my family in such a way in order to help other people.
сейчас поступать со своей
Although I
семьей,
partly managed to find an answer, I
для того,
still
чтобы
can't fully answer this
помочь
question.
другим людям. И я
It's
опять же
just
нашел ответ,
before
но до сих
2016.
пор я полноценно на этот вопрос не ответил. Просто
I've been running business since 2002.
2002 года занимаюсь бизнесом. У нас студия завоевывала международные
Our
награды.
studio won international awards in Milan and Russia.
И у нас имеется
We have a certificate signed by the first president. A great number of clients, including both corporate personalities and private individuals, provided us with positive feedback.
И в какой-то момент
At some point, you know, I realized I lacked comprehension.
осмысленности вот этой.
Yes, I worked, earned money, and could afford a lot.
Да, там я себе могу позволить многое, да, то есть, но что
But what would I
останется
leave behind?
Что
What would my
останется,
children
чем
be
буду
proud of? What was the
гордиться?
meaning of our life?
Что вообще есть смысл нашей жизни? Вот эти вопросы я
I
начал
started to
достаточно
ask
поздно,
myself all these questions quite late. However, I'm happy I did start asking myself these questions.
потому что когда
You know, if you ask yourself such questions and answer them honestly, you understand a lot.
Отвечаешь, что тогда многое для тебя открывается. И
Now I know that I'll be able to buy a piece of bread in any case. I'll always have food on my table and my children won't be hungry.
найду силы, возможности, то есть
Helping others, we become stronger and more open with other people.
голодали. Помогая кому-то, мы сами становимся сильнее. Мы становимся сами.
I think it's one of the really powerful practices,
Я
and however selfish it may sound, it helps you become better too.
думаю, мощных практик, как бы это эгоистично не звучало, это делает и тебя лучше.
Bakhtiyar?
Bakhtiyar is a wonderful husband. The children love him so much. He loves them too and spends a lot of time with them.
Он еще большой романтик.
In addition, he's a true romantic.
Вы думаете,
He always gives me flowers and surprises me.
собрать
He can quickly equip us in the morning, take us somewhere, and then we find ourselves going up in a balloon.
перед свадьбой, конечно,
Of course, before wedding, relatives kept asking, "What are you thinking about?" You understand that it is hereditary, don't you? However, I had no doubts. Yes, it was love, probably. You know, I don't remember being afraid at all. You can't feel fear with him. He's always confident and determined.
всегда уверен, всегда решительный.
Мы с супругой
I
познакомились в
met my
2007
future
году,
wife in
в
2006.
2008 году.
We got married in 2008,
И,
and our eldest son was born in 2009.
сын старший.
My wife is sighted. I mean, she probably never felt to what extent. I mean,
Она, наверное, до конца
well, I'd better say that during the first years, she didn't even understand how bad my eyesight was.
насколько, то есть, вернее, так скажу. Первые годы она даже не понимала, насколько я плохо вижу.
When
Когда
I
я
showed her a
ставил
folded
такие
transparent
так,
folder and said, "This is what I can see," she burst into tears.
ну,
Do you
а
really
по
see like
личности
this?
не знаю даже, как это
Yes, I do.
человек.
Actually, I can't even compare it with anything because I don't know how clearly a person having 20 by 20 vision sees.
По дому какие-то мелкие вещи, там,
Can I make myself useful in everyday life?
все делаю.
I certainly can hammer a nail. I do all the simple chores at home. Recently, my son and I have even repaired some electrical appliance.
Да, в прошлом году
If I'm not mistaken, it was a New Year garland.
запаяли.
Yes, we sorted a garland last year. He helped me. My two children have a disability too, while my eldest son doesn't. You know, I was crying when I brought my youngest son to the hospital where he was going to have a surgery. I cried in spite of the fact that I'd undergone it all and knew you could be happy being blind or having poor eyesight.
Быть несчастным, полностью здоровым человеком, да, то есть я это все знаю прекрасно, но когда
At the same time, you could be unhappy being perfectly healthy. You do know it, but when it regards your children, you experience different feelings. Then I started asking a question again. I do like asking myself questions. That time the question was, why did it happen like this? Why did it turn out in this way? Why did this situation occur? What did my life want to show me through this means? What do the universe and my destiny want to tell me?
Я понимал, что может родиться ребенок.
I understand that a child might be born with a disability because this condition was hereditary.
И мы понимали, что на нас ложится большая ответственность.
However,
за своих
both my
детей.
wife and I were prepared.
И, ну, я знал,
We understood that we'd have more responsibility for our children.
в полной мере.
So, well, I know that both my wife and I will be able to cope and my children will be fully fledged members of our society.